Welcome to Soccer As We Like It, the Man United direction. And today we're just having our weekly roundup of what's happening with Manchester United. Joining me today is Houston and Denver Red Army, the one and only Louis. How are you, mate?
Good, good. How you been, Tim?
Not bad, not bad. As you know, a lot's happened. We're gonna jump right into it. As you can see, the Glazers have just realized the NFL are there's a club called the Washington Commanders, which are being which are being sold for 6 billion, and people bid for 6 billion. And in terms of revenue, they only made 350 million last year. United
Mhm.
made 555 million. United's Instagram followers are 61 million. Washington World Commanders followers are 1.2 million. So I think the Rainbow Group are giving the Glazers hint, like, listen, if these people being bid for 6 billion, you need to up your bid for more, which has really thrown a spanner into the works for the Qataris. And Sir Jim, what's your take on that?
I'm trying to do a little side research here, but I think it's a bit of a misnomer, isn't it? Like, yeah, okay, you sold the Washington Commanders at 6 billion. Um, but you also have to remember that they're not a $500 million in debt. At least I don't think they are.
No, they're
And
not.
that's where the Glazers, like uh if I'm Sir Jim or if I'm Chick or any of
Yeah,
these guys, like it's that's what I would come back with. It's like, look, dude, not only do I have to pay off all the debt that you've accumulated
I
over the
know,
last
right?
7 years, I have to build you a new stadium or renovate the old one. Either one is going to be extremely costly. I have to renovate the training ground. I have to buy new players. I have to buy new support staff. Like you're selling me, you're selling me a classic car, but it's not a renovated classic car. You know what I mean? Like you're selling me a gem. Don't get me wrong. Like Manchester United is worth a lot of money. It is a global market. It is, the revenue will be there, but it goes against all the debt and everything else that has piled up over the last 17 years. So
Right.
if the I think I would totally expect, and I would totally put it on the Glazers to be like, oh hey, look, they sold the football franchise for $6 billion. Oh, we want more. But yeah, hopefully they have some smart lawyers in their corner to be like, hey man, the numbers don't add up.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it's just greed at the end of the
It
day.
it comes down to greed, as you said.
Yeah.
It comes down to greed, and I mean, look at what the Qataris are offering: new stadium, new training facilities, new players, um, influxing the male and female teams with talent, building the team from making it, bringing it back to the number global pinnacle of global football, and paying the debt, as
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier. Sir Jim said he might not be able to pay the debt, but the debt will not increase under his watch.
Yeah, and I think that's where we want to be, right? I was hearing today that another reason that the Glazers might be dragging their feet is because this past quarter was it was an extremely profitable quarter. Ticket revenue and marketing revenue, and outside of this it has been at its highest that it had been in a while. Part of that is down to the success, but a major part of that is because it was revealed that the Glazers didn't take dividends out this quarter. Um,
Exactly my
and
point.
that's and I mean and that's where and I mean that's what we've been screaming about for years, right? It's
Mm,
our number one summer signing, our star player is always been dividends, right? It's always the first expenditure on the list when it came towards the accounting, when it came towards the books.
right.
They always got paid, no matter what.
Exactly.
So now that you're trying to put it up in the shop window, right? You want to say, "Oh, look how much money we made this quarter." Yeah, this is because
Because you did not take.
this is because of Ten Hag. This is because of all the things that we have done. No, it's just because you left the money there. You didn't touch it this time. Uh, so thank you for not touching it this time. But I mean, where you been? We've been talking about this. It's just their tactics, man. It's why we've wanted this family, this group out for so long.
I know, right?
Because they're the masters of the bait and switch, aren't they? Like, we've how many times were we linked to Cristiano returning, Neymar's, all these types of players, and then we ended up with Alexis Sanchez and
Oh God, no.
and Di Maria and all of these. This is
Schneiderlin.
this is what we've come to expect from these guys, man. And what it is with this infighting with like between the family, some want to go, some want to stay, dragging their feet, allowing new bidders to come in past the bidding deadlines and these kinds of things. It's just them being greedy. It's them trying to get, and I think I said it last time, right? It's no matter who they sell it to, no matter what the price is, they will be taken care of. They
Right. 100%.
they're number one. They get paid first, and then the club is whatever,
But remember, they own 69%. There's also the 31% of those other shareholders who Sheikh Hassim said, I'm buying everyone out.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, buying that 69 point whatever
The
percentage.
Glazers, they
Yeah,
take them out completely.
yeah, taking them out completely is obviously the largest hurdle, right? And it will have to favor the Glazers, for them to accept and for them
Exactly.
to completely walk away. Once that's done, how easy it is to buy the other 30%. I know we talked about this last time with Bems. I don't know. I'm sure some people might be eager to sell. Some people will want to hold on to it, as much as they can, as long as they can.
Exactly.
But yeah, we know where the real cancer is, right? We know what has to go.
Exactly.
That 69%, no matter what, has to go. The other 30%, yeah, maybe they can chip at it for however long they feel is necessary. But as long as this current ownership group is gone, then the club can finally see consistent success.
Exactly. Right. And as you know, what some fans are concerned about is what if the Glazers say, you know what, we're just gonna just, we're just not, we think we could make something out of this, and because they I know they can't spend the money on the stadium, they can't afford it, so
Right.
they can't even try to stay in there, and some fans are scared. They might say, you know what, turn around, you know what, why don't we just have a smaller share and look for investors? That will not go down well with the fans at all.
No, it
100%.
won't, because I mean, at the end of the day, it just puts us back in debt, right? No matter what investment group comes in to supplement a Carrington or an Old Trafford rebuild, they got to get paid back, right? That's what investment is. They expect, whether it be over a short period of time or a long period of time, money still has to go towards that, right? So
100%.
updating the training ground will produce better soccer for sure. Updating the stadium will bring in some potential revenue for sure. But where does that leave us to buy new players? Where does that leave us to facilitate the support staff, where there have been several openings for many, many years? Many people wearing several hats, doing several jobs that, at the biggest top flight clubs in the world, they have entire teams dedicated to these things. And that's where the consistent success suffers, right? We've had a lot of success under Ten Hag with what he's got, but that's because he's a genius. You can
Right.
only do that for so long with minimal tools, with minimal resources. And that's why the idea of a Qatari investment is so appealing to a lot of people, is because the slate is clean.
Exactly. That's
debt
what we
is
want.
cleared.
That's what United fans are dreaming of.
The debt is cleared, and there is still money left over to inject in towards the club to build towards success. That is the ultimate goal, the ultimate idea. Anyone who comes in who is not able to clear the debt immediately, who is not able to invest in towards the club immediately, it's a nice idea, but it still pushes where we want to be further and further down the road.
That's
Which, I
right.
mean, we could get there. You know, if Sir Jim, for example, had to have outside investment to complete his bid, it doesn't happen as fast as maybe a Qatari bid, but it can happen and probably will happen.
Not be as fast.
Done. But I mean, you know, we've waited long enough, man. 10 years we've freaking waited for a Premier League title. You know, 6 years we've waited for a European title. You know, the up and down when it comes to the Champions League, Europa League, bouncing back and forth.
I know, right?
We're tired of it. We want consistent Champions League. We want to be in a consistent battle, not for top 4, but for the top spot. We want to be consistently 1 or 2 in the league.
Exactly.
And these things are extremely, extremely possible as long as, you know, you have someone who is interested in building the club and in turn getting the most possible out of it. The Glazers have been happy to kick the can down the road and take off the top, right? They take their cash off the top. But they cannot say over the last 17 years that they have maximized profits, because they haven't. If they were maximizing profits, we would be consistently competitive, and
exactly,
they would be building the brand, you know, globally.
100%.
The brand globally. We've completely ignored the footballing side. We've completely gone in towards the marketing side. And that only makes money for the people at the top, the board members, the shareholders, the owners. You know, there's not at the end of the day, when you do that, there's not enough money to go around, right?
Not enough at all. And you're penny pinching in the transfer market.
We're just
looking for bargains.
We're just over it.
3 for the price of 1.
As a fan base, we're over it. I think the team, the players, I think, are over it. I think the staff that has been there the longest are over it. The only ones who are happy are, you know, your general managers, your CFOs, these types of people, because they're always taken care of, right? No matter what, they always get paid on time.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, and it's just extremely, extremely frustrating. We want this to be over, but it looks like it's not going to be over anytime soon.
Right. Thank you very much, Louis. Right. We heard today, breaking news, Mason Greenwood. The club has said no, they're not made the decision yet. Apparently, he's been having immediate talks with United, saying he's ready to come back right away, and the club have said no. But the club is slightly divided, and they said they won't be rushed into making a decision. From what I'm seeing, and from what the polls are saying, I'm seeing 60% say, well, they want it back, 40% say they don't want it back. The sponsors are saying this season is a no, because they don't want anything to jeopardize the continuity and the way the club has been moving, transforming into something of a brand with squeaky clean, no issues, no drama. But when he comes in and, you know, even though they said he was never found guilty because the case never went to court. And as we all know, he's going to have a baby with this same lady. The fact of what people still, the incident, it happened. It did happen. But what has happened is that she has recounted her statement saying she's not pressing any more charges. He did violently attack her, attempted rape, you know, so this is where we are. But as it stands, as a United fan, how do you feel as it stands right here?
It's an interesting one, because this is the first time in a long time that I fully agree with the decision of the club. I want Mason Greenwood back. I think, and I talked about this a little while ago. I am okay with bringing him back. I support bringing him back. I think the decision to delay his return until next season at the earliest, I think that's a fantastic decision. Because if I remember correctly, the last thing that we talked about was the internal investigation by Manchester United has to be a thorough investigation. This is how this is how you can go to the public and be like, we did our due diligence and we made sure that this was the right thing for Mason, for the club, for the staff, for everybody. And I think you're right. What I heard or what I've been hearing is that the staff are very much interested in bringing him back. The footballing staff and the football side of it. The sponsorships, the outside interests are reluctant, and that's fair. It's extremely fair. It was an extremely volatile situation. It was you know, there's a lot of feelings around domestic abuse, domestic violence, and these kinds of things. All that being said, I would like to see the forgiveness, the compassion, the understanding for a young footballer who was put in towards a situation that he could not handle. That is not an excuse for what he did. That is not an excuse for what he did, but we do have to understand that this is a young kid that made an extreme mistake. And you know, from a personal level, that, you know, people in my life have given me the grace when I've screwed up, right? And they've had my back. Not that bad, right? Let me put that out there. Not that big of a mistake, but you know, everyone wants someone to have their back when they screw up. And in this situation, the person that has Mason Greenwood's back is his soon-to-be wife and soon-to-be mother of his child. They have, however messed up this scene was, they have been able to reconcile. They're not only having a child together, they're supposedly getting married. Like, they want to continue their life together, and there has been forgiveness and there has been compassion. So I would like to see that from the Manchester United fan base. Now,
some of the female footballers and female staff at the club don't 100% feel comfortable about a man of his violent past. I'll say past.
Fair. And look, it's extremely fair. At the end of the day, it's a footballing decision. His contract is something like $8 million left. He's still getting paid
70 a week.
So there's that side of it. We need a striker. There's that aspect.
I like we need a striker.
And he's a good player. And you know, he is, you know, brought success for us in the past, and I think he could bring success for us in the future. Now, we have also had other controversial players. Ryan Giggs.
Right, you know, I was gonna bring out Ryan Giggs because you know that's the reason why he has not been inducted in the Premier League Hall of Fame, because of that pending case. But you see what happened when he domestically beat his girlfriend up. He was stripped of the Wales managership. They stripped him.
And look, that's a little bit different, right? Because that's a leadership role. You are in charge of a group of men, and you have to be able to stand up there and lead them with this types of allegations. You can't be in a leadership role in that aspect, I think. However, Mason is way younger than Giggs was at the time. He's a player. He's not a coach. It's a little bit different. And there is the forgiveness and acceptance of his wife. Now, the concerns of the female players and the female staff, that is extremely valid, right? That is extremely valid. I would urge them to consider the rehabilitation of the man, counseling, whatever the club asks him to do to return. If he meets those standards and he meets those requirements, then I think, he deserves a second chance. I think that's okay. I think it's okay to say that. I think it's okay for the people within the club that care about it, because there's coaches, there's teammates, and there's things like that. There's people that care about him, and he clearly cares about the club, and he clearly cares about these people, right? And it's not an easy black and white situation. It's all gray.
Right.
The feelings of the female staff and players is 100% valid. The feelings of those that care about Mason and want to see good things for Mason is completely valid. Ultimately, Ten Hag and the ownership have to come together, and they have to make a decision. That's why I think doing an extended internal investigation on top of the investigation that already happened, right? Which ultimately they decided was not warranted to take it to court, and then of course the recanting of the witnesses and this kinds of thing. Look, at the end of the day, like, he's an innocent man. In the eyes of the law, let's put it that way, right? In the eyes of the law, he's an innocent man. So there is that aspect of it. Morally, is he screwed up? Yeah, he is. He's got problems. He's not the only footballer to have problems, and it's, from what it looks like, and again, I don't have full details, right? But what it looks like is he is committed to doing the steps necessary to return. And a lot of players would be, like, I scored X amount of goals, I shouldn't have to do this BS. I should just be able to walk in, blah blah blah, and this and that. And if you want me to do that, well, then up yours, I'm out. He is at a stage in his life where he recognizes that if he wants to play professional football, I think this is the best avenue to do it. And if he wants to fix his image or put that respect back on his name, I think he's willing to do the work to get there. Clearly, he looks like he was willing to do the work within his own relationship to mend that. And there's been amending there. So now he's trying to mend this relationship. Yeah, man, look, he's a young kid. He screwed up. I say give him another chance. I say it seems like all parties involved are interested in giving him a second chance, but I totally back not bringing him, definitely not back in the squad, but also not back into training until next season. He can train on his own. He can go out, get outside coaches, outside help to make sure that he stays fit, that he stays, he stays touching the ball, that maybe he can find instances to play elsewhere at in not a professional setting.
Right.
So yeah, I think there's still a lot of potential for him as a footballer, but there is still a lot of potential for him as a human being.
Right. Okay, I think that makes sense. The international break is over, ended this week. I know you're glad that we're back to regular football, back to normalcy. Manutd are back, but they're away to St. James. They're at St. James Park playing the Newcastle, who are also fighting to get back in the top four after a consistent run of draws. But can United get a result at St. James Park? It's going to be a no. They did get a point. They played 0-0 at Old Trafford. They got a 0-0 at Emirates. They're not an easy side to beat. I mean, lately they've fallen off a bit. What are you taking for this game on Sunday?
Yeah, man, they are still the best defensive side in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still the least amount, and I'm totally pulling up the team to make sure that that's true, but I'm pretty sure it is. They've conceded the least amount of goals at 19. Yes, they're still the most defensive side, and without Casemiro breaking down that low block, is going to be extremely difficult, because obviously from a defensive standpoint, I think we'll be okay. Even if we go to a double pivot in the middle, which I would hate, but we probably will. If we go towards a double pivot in the middle, I think we'll be solid. It's going forward. It's breaking down that low block, that park the bus style, very defensive. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be extremely difficult. We're going to have to rely on our wingers to come short, to drop in and collect the ball off the midfielders, off the fullbacks, and try to build and try to be creative and try to be try to penetrate balls in towards that defense. Not easy, especially because we know our wingers don't like to do that. They like to stay high. They like to be fed balls. Once they get the ball in the wing, inverted wingers, they both want to cut inside. They want to, try to
take shots.
Take shots in this. Of course, I'm talking about Rashford. I'm talking about Anthony. you know, it's going to be extremely interesting. Do you put Rashford as a 9? Is he fit? Do you put Weghorst there? Is Bruno going to be allowed to play in the midfield? Are we going to put him on the wing again for what the hell ever reason that we do that, which makes zero sense to me? You know, there's so many factors there. It's going to be a tough game.
Okay, right. And your predicted score, mate?
I think the last time I predicted a score of 2-1 and we went 0-0, right? So
You're going to predict 0-0?
op optimistically, I'm gonna say a 1-0 win. I'm gonna say
It's going to be a tight game.
I like to be optimistic. It's gonna be tight no matter what. If it's a draw, I will not be surprised.
Right.
If it's a draw, now if we lose, I'm gonna be pissed off because there's no reason we should be losing this game. I think if we organize, if we're able to keep possession for long periods of time, the way Ten Hag likes us to, then yeah, I think, you know, maybe even off of the set piece, maybe even off of
Workhorse getting the winner would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, man, get your big body up in there and score a freaking toe poke, dude. Just get the ball in the net, man.
That's right.
We gotta put in the work. I could see, because we don't have Casemiro, I could see Wout playing as the 10 again to kind of get in there and just kind of bust up the play, which I think, you know, makes some kind of sense. But I hope he doesn't go 90 minutes there. You know, I hope maybe he causes a lot of problems for them. 50 minutes, 60 minutes. Then it's time to get Bruno into the midfield. It's time to let the ball go. It's time to, you know, play forward, play attacking. If you have Eriksen back, even if he plays limited minutes, you know, he could come in later in a game and change some things. He could come in later in a game and find those penetrating balls and find openings and create chances. If he plays 20 minutes, something like this could be possible. Could be very possible.
So we're all looking forward to the game on Sunday, back to Premier League football again after this international breaks. United players in playing for the country. Bruno, Scott McTominay scoring doubles for Scotland. They're saying he's now the new, oh God, but I'm not gonna.
You said it wrong. You said it wrong. It's not Scott McTominay. It's McTerminator.
McTerminator. Well, what can I say? He really was on fire this week.
What McTerminator, man?
He has shown that he's the man. So we'll just have to wait and see if Scooby-Doo turns up on Sunday.
I hope to God we sell him in the summer.
And that he'll be playing against a team who actually want him in the summer.
Yeah, very much so. And honestly, I think he would be a good fit there. Honestly, I really
think so.
I think that he's not completely like washed up or anything like this. Like there is positives to his game. He's just not at the level of where we're trying to go. We've said this about several players. Look, no, he's not at the level. He's not at the level of a consistent championship Premier League side. He's not. He's not at the level, and neither is Harry. Or excuse me, Jacob. You know, Harry is not at the level. He's not at the level of Wout. As much as we love Wout Weghorst and his work ethic and his desire to be there, he's not at the level long term. You know, I want to see these, with the exception of Jacob, I want to see these players move on, and I want them to have success elsewhere. I don't care where Harry Maguire goes. Harry Maguire can go play in Qatar for all I care. I don't go and disappear, my man. I don't want you around.
Right.
Oh God, the quotes that keep coming out about him. Oh my God, it just makes me angry every time I see it.
Tell me about it.
Well, oh God, just that I don't need to prove myself in this and that. Oh my God, dude, you're a clown. You're an absolute clown.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, I covered that on. I covered it during the week, and I think we covered it last week. Actually, we covered it. We did cover it. But this is a guy who feels I'm being chosen for my country. I'm the best scoring defender for my country. Why should I put myself in Man United? I mean, There are players who you can never, ever, ever achieve what they achieved at United, or even lace their boots. They say when they put that shirt on, they have to prove themselves again every game. And this clown, out of nowhere, says, I don't have to. Get the hell out of here, man. Well, on that note, hopefully we'll have some good reaction from football on Sunday with a positive result. That would be great. I mean, it would be great after 2 weeks. It looks like it's forever. We've not played had football. We're playing the international break.
We have not had this amount of time off since December.
Mm.
I mean,
the World Cup.
Yeah, of course, some of our players have been playing, right? But Rashford got a decent break. I think Bruno got half.
Veron's retired.
Veron is back in training apparently. So he took that knock right before the window. And apparently he's back in training, so he had time off. Ericsson obviously had time off. He was recovering. So yeah, man, very, very positive. Very positive. There's so many of our players that have gotten breaks and that have gotten time to rest and to recover and just to take a mental break, because man, the amount of football that we've been playing is crazy. And if we continue to be successful in the FA Cup and the Europa League, I mean, these games are just gonna start hitting us between now and the end of May. So
that's right. I honestly believe you. Right.
The road ahead.
Right. On that note, we've come to that time, the end of the show. Louis, it's been an absolute pleasure you having joining us tonight on very short notice. Denver and Houston Red Army, Louis joining us tonight. Thank you so much for your time. So we shall see you and we'll talk to you on the Sunday match channel, fan chat, our Sunday's fan chat. And hopefully we have a positive result to discuss. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe on all the social media platforms. Don't forget to go check us also on Spotify. You can be listening to us while you're driving, while you're in the gym working out. But Louis, thank you very much. Glory, glory, Man United. See you guys very soon. Yep. Take care, brother. Take care. All right.